First of all, Dr. Shamshad Akhtar, our chairperson of PICG Board of Director, also chairperson of Pakistan Stock Exchange, Mr. Salimullah Saab, the Deputy Governor for State Bank, Shafaq, of course, our President and CEO of PICG, the online participants, Assalamu alaikum to everyone, and a very good afternoon to all of you. I'm really pleased, and of course it's an honor for me as well to share my views with you today on the regulatory initiatives. And it is, as Salimullah Saab also said, very tough to speak after Dr. Shamshad has spoken, and for me even more tougher having had our Deputy Governor speak before me. I think the strategic vision and the practitioner's point of view, we heard both sides of it. So first of all, congratulations to PICG for organizing this conference. I had participated in the previous one also last year, being the inaugural one, and I'm very encouraged to see the momentum going. And of course, I do hope that we continue to engage further and ensure that ESG is just not talked about, but also actively integrated into our businesses and into our capital market. So today I will focus on one primary aspect that is I would say that underpins the entire ESG journey, which is reporting. I do see Farooq Saab also sitting there, and I'm sure you will be hearing, the practitioner's perspective with respect to data and how it is being, it is required to be reported. So what I feel is that, reporting is essential because without credible and comparable and, useful decision-related data, sustainability commitments remain promises on papers only. We will not be able to achieve much without, having actually the data with respect to the policy designs as well. So the speakers before me, as I said earlier, have already touched upon as to why reporting is essential, but I will just add up to a bit of it, that in the capital markets, all of us, we agree that, trust is, quantified through disclosures. And therefore, ESG reporting is, now not just the language, but also, the means to, through which the companies communicate their environmental, social, and governance performances to the world. Globally, we are moving towards a coherent sustainability reporting baseline led by International Sustainability Standards Board with ISSB. IFRS S1 and S2 both are in the process of adoption in the Pakistan capital market. S1, of course, being the general sustainability disclosures, and S2 for climate related. And so SECP, wide its order of December 31st, I believe, in 2024, we issued application of IFRS S1 and S2 and communicated their applicability to companies through a phased approach under the Companies Act. Phase 1 of mandatory reporting will apply from annual reporting period starting from July 1st, 2025. Now already started, in fact, for listed companies, meeting basically two criteria. There is one threshold given with respect to turnover, which is about 25 billion, and another with respect to 1,000 employees, or the total asset size of 12.5 billion. So most recently, as the ISSB has also issued a report on status of adoption of sustainability standards, whereby around 36 jurisdictions were researched and have adopted. Those are the ones basically that are either in the process of adoption, they have already adopted, or are on the way basically on with respect to adoption of the sustainability standards. So, and I'm very pleased to report that Pakistan has been cited amongst those 17 jurisdictions that have provided clarity on progress towards achieving a global baseline of sustainability disclosures for their capital markets through the phased adoption that I just mentioned for the listed companies. So this adoption trend, by jurisdictions is sending a clear message. ESG reporting, we believe, is now part of capital market infrastructure. So those who align early will be positioned to attract investment flows that are increasingly conditional to on sustainability performances. Now, this is something which is advocated, and this is something which is, of course, required by international, not just the regulators, but also the investors there. So with the SECP having introduced the ESG roadmap in 2022, as mentioned by Dr. Shamshad also, we actually set certain milestones. So and assigned those responsibilities to the the stakeholders also in the roadmap. So in 2024, we issued Pakistan's ESG disclosure guidelines, voluntary in nature though, for the listed companies. They are designed to actually give the listed companies a more of a structured framework for sustainability reporting in line with international best practices, but best suited to our local and domestic context as well. So to further operationalize this framework, we launched the ESG Sustain portal. We call it Sustain. It's like an online kind of an automated portal. We launched this in December 2024. And which is, as I said, a digital kind of a portal for reporting under the ESG guidelines and all the matrices that have been provided under the ESG guidelines. It actually embeds the indicators, on the environmental side, on the social side, on the governance side that have been provided for in the guidelines. So it also allows, trend analysis and benchmarking across companies and sectors for the regulators. I mean, it is something very, very essential. And it also provides, public access to selected data, enhancing transparency and the market confidence. So in future, what we are thinking, along with some international partners, to further upgrade the ESG Sustain portal to fully align it with ISSB S1 and S2 standards, so that our listed companies can then seamlessly transition as these standards will become a norm globally. So the next step is aligning ESG guidelines, as also mentioned by the Deputy Governor Salimullah Saab, with the Pakistan Green Taxonomy. We had worked with with the Ministry of Commerce, and we had worked very closely with the State Bank in aligning. We are actually in process of aligning our ESG guidelines with the taxonomies, and we are required to actually come up with a revised set of guidelines by December this year. So this will actually help companies map activities to taxonomy criteria, I would say unlocking eligibility for green finance, for sustainability linked financing, and it will give investors a transparent view of the corporate contributions to climate and environmental target. And it will definitely also will directly link it with our Pakistan nationally determined contributions, the NDC, under the Paris Agreement. So this is just not a regulatory alignment. In fact, it is about connecting Pakistan with the issuers to global pool of sustainable capital, and the regulatory sector must actually realize this opportunity. So we are also aware that a robust ESG framework cannot be achieved by the regulations alone. So there needs to be a business case for the corporates, and across sectors there are significant constraints that we must also realize, and we do. And this is the reason why SECP, I'm sure State Bank, and all of PICG and other bodies are working together to create that awareness and advocacy concept. So there is limited awareness of international reporting frameworks, and there is a shortage of trained ESG staff, I would say, and sustainability professionals. There is a gap that exists there, in terms of the internal systems of data collection and verifications. So, and this is where, as the State Bank, ICAP, SECP, PICG were all working and on the path of advocacy and capacity building. In 2023, under the ESG roadmap, we had been proactively addressing these barriers through more of to providing more practical solutions to the corporate sector through this advocacy and capacity building initiatives, and ICAP had been a great partner in that. We have conducted sector-wise awareness sessions for boards, for CFOs and compliance teams, and sustainability considerations, as well as the ESG guidelines themselves. We have conducted capacity building session in collaboration with ICAP, specifically in the context of applicability of the ISSB sustainability standards. Most recently, actually, we had one in Islamabad with the IFC team. under their ESG project to deliver a sector-specific capacity building module, keeping in view the current as well as the upcoming ISSB sustainability standards. So we have engaged with UN Sustainable Stock Exchanges Initiative as well, and so has the Pakistan Stock Exchange to deliver on ISSB focused trainings for the listed companies, and ensuring that our market participants are, they understand both the technical requirements and the strategic opportunities of sustainability reporting. So, all of these efforts are just not for the domestic benefits, but high quality ISSB aligned reporting is definitely expected to build international investor confidence by demonstrating risk management and resilience. It signals basically a commitment to transparency, which can improve access to international financing instruments such as green bonds, gender bonds, and sustainability linked loans. So when investors see, credible climate-related disclosures, they can price risk more accurately and may have investment mandates that explicitly require such data. So for Pakistani companies, this could be a deciding factor in whether they are included in the global ESG investment portfolios or they are not. So as SCCP, our message to listed companies is very clear. One, we need to prepare now for ISSB. So do not wait for the mandatory timelines, but align your systems and governance structures now. Two, of course, board level ownership. In the beginning, I think Shafaq also had mentioned with respect to the changes, the amendments that the SCCP has done in the Code of Corporate Governance. So ESG, it is now a fiduciary responsibilities, and the boards must integrate into its strategy and oversight. There are committees that have been formed by the boards of these companies, and there is no bar. These companies can always have not necessarily just board members being part of this committee, but professionals, external professionals who help them achieve the goals. So the third, I would say, message is basically leveraging ESG Sustain, the portal itself. So not just for compliance, but also for performance tracking and for investor engagement. So companies can actually, project their the stories, the success stories on the portal as well. So the fourth lesson would be to engage in sector-specific trainings. Participate actively in programs delivered through the SCCP's collaboration with ICAP, with IFC, with the UN SEC, and I'm sure PICG and others are also engaged in this. The fifth, but not the last one, would be the position for capital flows. So treat ESG reporting as an investment in market visibility, not a compliance cost. And I think, as rightly mentioned also by Dr. Shamshad earlier, we should not be taking ESG as a compliance burden, but we should take it as more of a strategic opportunity to enhance investors' trust, to actually improve on risk management, and to to actually access sustainability linked capital as well. So just in conclusion, the global capital markets are moving towards a future where ESG transparency is definitely an essential requirement as part of our financial disclosures. So SCCP is committed to ensuring that Pakistan is not just a bystander in this transformation, but actively involved in it, in achieving it. So through robust guidelines, a dedicated digital platform that I mentioned, alignment with the global standards, both S1 and S2, and targeted capacity building, we are definitely equipped, and we can definitely equip our markets to compete for sustainable investment on the world stage. So I would encourage all market participants to embrace this shift, not just to meet regulatory requirement, as I said, but to position themselves for resilience, competitiveness, and long-term value creation. And I definitely look forward to hearing from the speakers today and tomorrow, inshallah, and further continue with our collaborative journey. So thank you, and over to you, Shafaq and Talha. Thank you once again.